This is the beginning of a short vlog series to document the process, or at least my process, of building up a lens set for full-frame Sony cameras. Now, as usual, I'm only considering the video aspects of this build-up, and I really don't get into any of the still photography considerations. For quite a few years, I've owned Canon Cinema EOS cameras. Now, in the beginning, I had PL mount cameras with the C500s, and then, of course, I went to the C300 Mark II with an EF mount, partially because of the potential for the autofocus capabilities. But I found myself now, going to the proverbial dark side, going to a full-frame Sony for a couple of reasons. And the primary reason, realistically, is that most of my clients are actually full Sony shops. They have a lot of equipment, a lot of studios, and we just use Sony gear. And my C300 Mark II was just sitting, especially the last 6 months. I don't think I really used it for a paying job. It was just sitting at home, in storage, collecting dust and depreciating every day. Now, my personal philosophy is, if the equipment doesn't make money, there's really no point in owning the equipment, unless of course it helps really get jobs. But at that point, it should also be, making money on a regular basis. So I decided to go Sony because it would just be a lot easier for me to sub-rent my rig to the companies I work for, on an as-needed basis. Now, lately, we've been using the full-frame FX9 on more and more shoots, and I do think, in general, we are going to be moving in this direction, especially when the FX6 becomes readily available, and then who knows what's coming out after that. And, of course, the A7S3, although maybe some clients may balk at using, a mirrorless camera, but it's, the image quality is actually quite excellent. And when I did my test on the A7S3, what I did find was that the Metabones adapter I have, the Mark IV, autofocus for video really doesn't work, or it's very unreliable. And it's not me. I noticed on the internet, a number of people have noticed that. Now, eventually, I am sure Metabones will reverse engineer, autofocus for the A7S3, and it'll work. But again, it doesn't work now. So I decided to, take that deep dive and sell all my EF mount lenses, especially the autofocus ones, and start from scratch, start all over. Again, starting with autofocus capable E-mount lenses. Now, professionally, we really don't use autofocus. It's always been a manual focus world in terms of professional video. But I think that's going to change. And of course, Canon made some inroads with the dual pixel autofocus years ago, and Sony has been coming on really strong, as has Canon. They've, both companies have vastly improved their autofocus capabilities. And again, from the early tests with the A7S III, I think the current generation of cameras, again, whether they're Sony or Canon, I think it works now. Only time will tell. We'll use it in the field, and if we get really comfortable with it, that's just going to be a definite option for us in the future, and that's what I'm betting on. So what am I planning to build? Well, for starters, I want to build a basic set of lenses, autofocus capable, roughly between 14 to 400 millimeters. Those are the, I guess those are the most common, focal lengths that I will anticipate using. And I'm going to start with the typical trio that most professional still photographers use, the wide zoom, the mid-range zoom, and the longer zoom. And I'm going to see how they work for video. If they really don't work as well as I think they will, or if I'm just feeling that, an f2.8 maybe doesn't give me as many options as I would like, then I'll look at some autofocus capable prime lenses. Now, when it comes to manual focus lenses, there are literally millions and millions of potential lenses to choose from, because basically any 35 millimeter lens that was manufactured in the past that's manual focus is eligible, or does have potential. So I want to look at some old lenses, and ideally, full sets of lenses, again, going from roughly 18, 20 millimeters to 135 millimeters, or at least 24 millimeters to 135. And something reasonable, T2, maybe faster, but that's what I'll be looking at. And then, of course, there's the whole slew of new manual focus lenses coming from overseas, from all over the world. And a lot of them are made with SIN use or motion use in mind, with the focus gears intact, focus scales on both sides, et cetera, et cetera. And there seems to be so many to choose from. And again, I'm going to look for lenses that pretty much have a complete set. Again, 24 to 135 or something close to that, or something that that we could supplement with other lenses on both ends of the scale if they don't manufacture them at the moment. Now, when I post the tests, I will try to be as neutral as possible and primarily just, put the data out there for you to look at and decide if this is something that you want to test further on your own to decide if it's right for you or if you can dismiss. Now, when it comes to my own opinion and what I decide to do, what I like, what I don't like, and what I decide to actually buy, I'm going to be posting that on this vlog. So this vlog is definitely an opinion piece, and that's where I'll air or vent my thoughts. If this video was helpful to you, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.